I stood there in the lobby of First National Bank in downtown Chicago, my hands shaking as I gripped that ancient debit card like it was a relic from another life. The embossed numbers were worn down to ghosts, and the magnetic stripe on the back bore a deep gouge, as if time itself had clawed at it. I felt like a fool, dressed in my faded jeans and a blouse I'd ironed too many times, surrounded by people in sharp suits rushing through their day. "I'm sorry to trouble you," I murmured to the teller, a kind-faced woman named Ms. Ellis, with silver streaks in her hair and eyes that had seen too many stories like mine. "This card. It's from my dad. He passed it to me years ago. I just want to check if there's anything left on it. Maybe enough for a bus ticket or a meal." Ms. Ellis nodded sympathetically, her voice warm like a Midwestern aunt. "No trouble at all, ma'am. Let's take a look." She took the card, inspected it with a raised eyebrow, then swiped it through her machine. I braced myself for the rejection, the beep of denial, the polite apology that the account was long closed. But her face shifted. The color leached from her cheeks, her eyes widening behind her bifocals. She glanced at the screen, then at me, then back again, her mouth parting in silent shock. "Ma'am," she whispered, her voice cracking like thin ice, "I need you to step behind the counter. Right now." My stomach plummeted. "What? Is there a problem?" She didn't answer, just lifted the gate with trembling hands, ushering me through as curious eyes from the line turned our way, a young mother with a stroller, an old couple whispering. Security guards materialized from the corners, their radios crackling softly. Panic clawed up my throat as we hurried down a sterile hallway to a private office. "I swear, I didn't do anything wrong," I stammered, my mind racing to dark places. "Had my ex, Marcus, set me up somehow? Was this card tied to some forgotten debt?" Ms. Ellis closed the door, the guards standing sentinel outside. She sat at her desk, typing furiously, her face a mask of disbelief. "I need to verify your identity." "Ms. Lawson," she said, her tone tight as a wound spring. "Driver's license, please." I fumbled it out, hands slick with sweat. She cross-checked it against her screen, then fired questions: my mother's maiden name, my birth date, my father's full name, Thomas Lawson, the hospital where I was born in a small Illinois town. I answered in a whisper, each word pulling me deeper into confusion. But to understand how I ended up in that chair, heart hammering like a trapped bird, I have to take you back 3 days earlier. Back to the curb outside what used to be my home in the suburbs, a cozy colonial with blue shutters and a flower bed I'd tended like a child. 12 years I'd poured into that place, believing in forever with Marcus Reed, my husband, the ambitious real estate developer who'd swept me off my feet in my 20s. I'd quit my job as a teacher to support his dreams, hosting client dinners, managing the house, thinking we were building something unbreakable. Marcus stood on the porch that day, arms folded, his face hard as granite. Behind him, through the open door, I glimpsed her, Vanessa, his colleague, the one who'd laughed at my jokes over wine while sleeping with my husband. She was already fingering the drapes I'd picked out, claiming my space. "Emily, you need to go," Marcus said, his voice flat, like he was firing an intern. "The lawyers handled it. House is in my name. Cars too. Accounts frozen. You signed the prenup. It's over. But where am I supposed to live?" I pleaded, my voice cracking. "Marcus, 12 years, I gave up everything for you." He shrugged. "And I gave you a good life. We're square." Vanessa sidled up, her arms snaking around him, her pitying smile like acid. "It's for the best, Emily. People change." I wanted to rage, to shatter something, but exhaustion pinned me down. Months of arguments, of discovering texts and hotel receipts, had drained me dry. I grabbed my lone suitcase, 12 years reduced to clothes and a few photos, and walked away with $52 in my wallet. That night, I checked into a dingy motel off the interstate, the kind where the neon sign flickered and the rooms reeked of stale smoke and despair. The bed sagged. The AC hummed uselessly, and voices seeped through the walls like ghosts. Sleep evaded me, my mind churning over survival, no job, no savings, no family. My brother, Alex, and I hadn't spoken in a decade. Not since he'd trashed our dad as a loser, and I'd cut him off. In the dead of night, I rummaged through my suitcase, desperate for anything sellable. That's when I found the envelope, brittle and yellowed, zipped in an old coat pocket. For my Emily, scrawled in Dad's steady hand. When things get tough, tears blurred my vision. Dad had died 17 years ago, when I was 20. A maintenance worker in a run-down apartment block, fixing leaks and changing bulbs for pennies. We'd scraped by thrift store clothes, beans and rice dinners. His funeral had been sparse, paid for with what little he had. I opened it gingerly. Inside, the old debit card and a note. Keep this safe, kiddo. Use it only when you need it most. Love, Dad. I'd forgotten it completely, handed to me weeks before his heart attack. When I was heading to community college, it had traveled with me through moves, marriage, buried in boxes, maybe $100 tops. I figured enough for gas and groceries while I job hunted. The next morning, I trudged to First National, an imposing stone building I'd driven past 1,000 times but never entered. Hunger gnawed at me. I'd survived on vending machine snacks. I queued up, feeling invisible among the professionals, and approached Ms. Ellis with my apology. Now, in her office, she turned the screen toward me. Ms. Lawson, did your father ever talk about his finances? I blinked. Finances? Dad was a handyman. He patched his own jeans. We lived paycheck to paycheck. She removed her glasses, rubbing her temples. I've been here 28 years. Seen it all. But this. She pointed to the balance. $47,832,914.27. The room spun. That's impossible, I gasped. A glitch. No glitch, she said softly. Verified 4 times. It's yours. I clutched the desk, vision blurring. Dad had inherited scrubland from a great-uncle 30 years back. Worthless industrial dirt. A developer bought it. But Dad negotiated 4% of future profits instead of a lump sum. They built the Lakeside Plaza, a gleaming complex of offices, condos, malls that revitalized the area. Profits poured in, funneled to a trust for me at 18. But notifications went to our old address. I'd moved for college. Never updating. Dad never touched a cent, living humbly to protect it for me alone. Untouchable by spouses or creditors. The betrayal hit like a freight train. 3 months ago, right before Marcus filed, an inquiry flagged the account using my info. Not me. Marcus had hired a PI. Digging for assets. He'd known something existed. Rushed the divorce to break me. Hoping I'd share out of desperation. The silence of it all, the years he'd smiled while plotting, twisted like a knife. Ms. Ellis advised a wealth manager and lawyer. People change when money's involved, she warned. I left through a back door. Mind fracturing. $47 million. Freedom? Or a curse? I holed up in a discreet hotel. Calling the lawyer. Mr. Harlan. A sharp-suited 40s guy in a glass tower. He pieced it together. Marcus traced Dad's land sale. Sniffed the profits. but couldn't access the trust. So he stripped me bare, waiting for my desperation. He underestimated you, Mr. Harlan said. Now, he's powerless. But Marcus wasn't done. Text came, we need to talk. Knocks at my door. This should be ours. Emily. Family money. Police reports filed. But the fear lingered. Alex called too. Venomous. Dad's money? I'm his son too. You owe me. I blocked him. But the isolation crushed me. Old friends vanished during the marriage. Courtesy of Marcus's control. Weeks blurred in hiding. Mr. Harlan offered revenge plans, buy Marcus's debts, foreclose his empire. Tempting. After the sidewalk humiliation. But Dad's memory stopped me, his quiet sacrifices. Kindness over cash. Instead, I founded Renewal Fund. Aiding women post-divorce, housing, training, legal aid. It healed my wounds, turning pain to purpose. Digging deeper, we uncovered Marcus's fraud, shoddy buildings, hidden defects, bribed inspectors, families at risk. Anonymous tip to authorities raids. Suspensions. Not vengeance, but justice. Marcus called. Desperate, help me. For old times. I met him once. Saw the wreck he'd become. No, I said. Walking away. Closure. 6 months on. I live simply, a cozy apartment. Managing the fund that's helped 50 women. Bought low-rent buildings for stable housing. Marcus? Bankrupt. Facing charges. Vanessa gone. Alex? Silent after failed suits. At Dad's grave. I whispered thanks for the lesson, wealth and impact. Not dollars. Freedom's price is choosing kindness over hate. Now, I build. Not break, honoring the man who gave everything in silence.